Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everybody is doing great, and I hope you have been going through the materials and the videos which we are doing over here in the YouTube live that you are going through, and at the same point of time, you must be actually, about fundamental rights we had done in our last class. So basically, in the last part of the video, I think I got disconnected due to poor internet connectivity. So we will continue from where we have left. But prior to that, I would be just going through the slides once again that what we have done. Okay, so we talked about fundamental rights which constitute in the part 3 of our Indian Constitution, and comprises of from article number 12 to article number 35. Okay, so we have talked about this. We have various features of our fundamental rights, and then we have talked about when the fundamental rights can be suspended, but which are the absolute rights which we have talked about, article 19 and article 20 and article 21, which cannot be suspended at this point of time. But there are certain exceptions also, and all these make our fundamental rights a bit means it is a very curious thing that we have got the rights, but there are certain exceptions to the rights as well. And if you're talking about article number 31, which is right to property, that has been struck off from our fundamental rights. That means article number 31 does not exist anymore, and it has been made as a normal constitutional right under article number 300A in the part 12 of the Indian Constitution. Okay, so there are 6 fundamental rights, 6 categories rather. One is the right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and right to constitutional remedies. Okay, so these are our fundamental rights, and we have talked about article number 12 first of all, which is known as the definition of the state, and we have talked who can be the state, who can categorized as the state. Okay, so these are the things which we have done in our last class, and we have also dealt with what are laws. Then we have done about the right to equality, and right to equality is basically there are 14, means they are enshrined under article number 14 to article 18, and we have talked about these articles, what are the exceptions to the equality. And exceptions like presidents and governors, they are not equal because they are the first and second citizens of our country, and the state also, so they are not answerable to any court at any point of time when they are performing their duties in office. Okay, but once they are not the president and the governor, then they are treated as common man, and they are treated equal in the laws, in the eyes of the law. Okay, so these are the and there are certain more exceptions like the foreign sovereign rulers, ambassadors and diplomats, and UNO and its agencies like UNESCO, UNICEF. They also enjoy diplomatic immunity, and they are also these are the exceptions to the law of equality. Next, we have talked about article 15, which was discrimination on certain grounds, like nobody can be discriminated on the grounds of religion, race, sex, place of birth, any of them. Okay, and also it was prohibits about discrimination of using the public places. I quoted the example of public wells, that is Kuan, which were in earlier times. It was divided like for upper caste there was certain places, for the lower class it was a different place. But in our constitution we don't have any kind of discriminatory practices, and these are enshrined under article number 15. Okay, so these are the things. There are certain exceptions which we have talked about. We have talked about equal opportunity in public employment in article number 16. Then we have talked about the Mandal Commission case, which was dealing with the Indra Shawni case. Also, it is known as Indra Shawni's case, and it was about the other backward classes. And that was a time when the reservation said that it should not exceed 50% of the total seats in a job or government employment opportunity. Okay, so in the Article 17, it deals with the untouchability law, and it was later renamed as Protection of Civil Rights Act 1955. It was changed in the year of 1976, so that the provisions and the laws, penal laws, can be made more stringent, and it will be having a wider range of application. Then Article number 18 talks about the abolition of titles like Maharaja, Raj Bahadur, Rai Bahadur, Rai Sahib, etc., which were the titles of the colonial era. They are not treated. They should be abolished. But if you're talking about being a Padma Bhushan, then Bharat Ratna, they are not titles, and it is not a hereditary title, because a person is being conferred with certain titles and awards, but that is limited to that person only, and that is as per our constitutional laws, and they are treated as titles, but still these are the exceptions. No citizens of India can accept any title from foreign state except the consent of the president. But any kind of technical educational titles that are enshrined over, that can be taken up. Okay, next, if you're talking about right to freedom, there are 6 rights. There are certain rights, protection of 6 rights and all, and we have also done about these things: right to freedom of speech, assemble peacefully without arms, right to form associations or unions, that we have already done. Then we are talking about right to move freely throughout the territory, right to reside and settle in any part of our country, and right to practice any profession. So, and these are the articles which we will be doing today. So these are the things like protection of rights. If we are talking about, these are the rights which are over here. So we will be doing from here today. So basically, if you're talking about article number 19, it guarantees 6 rights. So if you're talking about these 6 rights, then article number 19(1) is dealing with these 6 rights. So right to freedom of speech and expression, that means any person can say whatever he wants. He can express his emotions and whatever he feels like, but there are certain exceptions also. Means you cannot cross the limit, and you cannot do personal attacks, and that will be acted upon as a contempt of breach of content in the rights, and a person can definitely go to the court of law and seek justice if he or she feels that it is some kind of defamation speech or defamation content has been given. That will be the time that will be happening. You have already heard about the manhani mamlas many people do against each other. So this is something which we do. Then we have got right to assemble and peaceably without arms. Yes, there are certain rallies done by the government, also not government, basically the political parties. Sometimes we also, the students union, go right to, they have assembled in a place, and there are certain speeches and there are certain dharnas also being given, but that should happen in a peaceful manner and without the use of arms. So that is about our article 19, which guarantees all the citizens this right. Then we can form associations, unions, cooperative societies. We can form political associations. Like many people you see, when they are defected from any parties, then they form their own political parties. So they can, that is our right. We can do it. We can form cooperative societies for the benefits of the residents of the particular place on a particular areas. We can do it. We can form labor unions in various companies, and these are the things which we have the right. Then we have the fourth of this particular 6 rights which we have got. it is talked about freedom of movement throughout India. We can basically, what we can do, we can move freely without any problem. Like you people, sometimes what we do is we travel to various places because of our jobs. So whenever you people, when you can see your seniors, they have got certain job offers from various companies, and they have to move to Bangalore, they have to move to Hyderabad for their job opportunity. As India is a union of states, not a federation of states, then this is where we get to know that as it is a union, we can move freely throughout the country. But there are certain restrictions also, like in the tribal areas. There are certain schedules, the ninth schedule, which says that the tribal people, you cannot just enter any tribal people society, because this is about the protection of the rights and culture of that particular place. And that is the reason why there are certain restrictions while we move. Like in Andaman, where the tribe of Jarwas live, there, if you want to go there, whenever you visit Andaman, many people of whom you have already visited Andaman Nicobar Islands, then you will be knowing that while going to the community of the Jarwas, you need special permission, and these are the things which we need to do. And these are the places where we cannot just go freely, otherwise you will be it is a unlawful act, and you may be charged upon these cases. Okay, right to reside, as I said, move freely throughout, and these are the two things which exactly what I said just now. You can reside at any place, settle down at any place in any part of the territory of India. Again, there is also certain restrictions regarding the same. What happens is, like if you want to, when Jammu and Kashmir was an integrated state, okay, it was not the union territory, and even now also the laws are not clear that whether a person can just go and buy property and live in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. And these are the provisions which are enshrined in the article number 370 of our Indian Constitution, where not only Jammu and Kashmir but the northeastern states, there are also restrictions in northeastern states where you just cannot go and buy property and settle over there. But these are the places, other places than these restricted areas, you can go, you can buy property, and you can settle down like this. Okay, so these are our rights which we can exercise. Right to practice profession or carry out any occupation, trade or business. Yes, we can carry out any kind of profession, any kind of occupation, trade, business of our liking, unless you means by that time only when you have got the requisite amount of educational qualification or job qualification. If you have those qualifications, then you can definitely go and do any kind of profession or occupation. This means in our ancient times, we had this Varna system. The Brahmans, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras. These castes had their jobs fixed. If you belong to that caste, then you can just do the job which have been mentioned in the caste rules. That means what? Indirectly, this article does not accept the caste system, and caste-based profession are also abolished. Means you cannot force anyone to do that particular job based on that person's caste. That person is free to do any kind of profession or follow any kind of trade or do business, whatever. So right to acquire, hold and property, which was a fundamental right, that has been deleted, as I already said, in the 44th Amendment Act of 1978. So I guess this part has been clear. So that, and next we can move on to the next slide, which certainly says about what are the restrictions. So I have already said what are the restrictions over here. So you see in Article number 19, The article number 19 also says that state can impose certain restrictions of freedom in interest of sovereignty and integrity of the India. If the government or if the administration feels that there needs to be imposed certain restrictions, they can do it. And it is based on, and you have to be decent enough, you have to be morally, you have to be sound, and there should not be any contempt of court, defamation, or incitement to any kind of offense. And these are the things which we have to follow, as these are the restrictions. Yes, there are certain restrictions which can be formed, which can be imposed on formation of any associations. Like, if somebody feels that, okay, I am not happy with this country, so I will be forming a terrorist organization so that I can carry out terrorist activities. These are the things which are dealt as unlawful because they are against the sovereignty and integrity of India, and it can also cause nuisance in public order. And these are the restrictions which can be imposed upon them and which results in banning of these organizations. Like you have heard about, there are certain terrorist organizations like Hizbul Mujahideen, then Indian Mujahideen. These are the organizations which act against the sovereignty and integrity of India. So these are the places where restrictions are imposed. And if these are the people who carry out certain activities, their movements are also restricted. Even you see, if some person carries out certain financial frauds, then also the movement in the restrictions are imposed. Like somebody has ran away, like you can remember about Vijay Mallya. Okay, if had Vijay Mallya not ran away, or before the imposition of his travel restrictions and he was caught, then it was not possible for him to move out of the country. There are certain business persons who perform these kinds of activities, and it is against the interest of the general public in financial forms, and these people are restricted to move from one place to another. Even sometimes you see that there are certain political figures who may have carried out certain unlawful activities. The court says that this person should not leave his home or should not leave the city or the district without the permission of police or district magistrate. So these are the things, the restrictions are being placed upon. And yes, freedom of press is included in the wider range of freedom of expression, and sometimes if even the press crosses the limit, there are restrictions imposed upon the press as well. So these are the certain restrictions which are being followed. Okay, so next, if we are talking about article number 20, which says about the protection in respect of conviction for offences, what does it say? It says that no person shall be convicted in any offence except for violation of law in force at the time of commission of the act as an offence or charged as an offence. So these are the things you can this can be implemented. That means what? In the no ex facto law, these are the persons, they are if they are convicted in the law of eyes of the law, then only they will be convicted. And at the same point of time, if some person has not done any kind of mistakes, then they can be protected against any kind of atrocities or any kind of exercise, means that they are not allowed to move, and these kind of restrictions, these are the things when they can be saved from. Yes, one most important thing you can see about this particular thing, no double party. That means no person shall be prosecuted and punished for same offense more than once. That means if a person is been convicted and he has got a sentence of his crime which he has caused, that will be only done once. For a single crime, he cannot have double punishment. So this is what is known as double jeopardy. So if any kind of means, these are the things which our constitution has given the protection. That means what? Any person, if the court, if some person has some certain kind of grudge against a person, and he says that that person should be given a big penalty. So these are the things. If the court has given him a sentence, a single sentence, the same sentence cannot be repeated. This is what is known as double jeopardy. So no person, no self-incrimination, no person accused of any offense shall be compelled to be a witness against himself. This is another important thing which we need to follow. Like means these are the things which are given as a right to a person who is being convicted, and he has committed a crime, and he cannot give a witness against himself. So this is also a kind of protection which is given for the conviction for any offenses. So basically you see, this article number 20 is a very interesting article, as a matter of fact. That means you see why it is so interesting. That means if any person is being convicted for any sort of mistake he has done or crime he has committed, he will be given a time to how to say this thing. That means he cannot be forced to be a witness against himself. If he has committed a crime and the court has, and it has been proven in the court, he will be prosecuted only once. If there are means if he can if he says that if that crime in the court of law is being proven that it is not a crime or an offense which should be treated in a court of law, he can be given protection, and at the same point of time this thing he will be also saved against the certain atrocities by a certain section of the society. So these are the things which are being said in the article number 20 of our Indian Constitution. Let's go to the article number 21, and it says about the protection of life and personal liberty. That means no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to the procedure established by law. What does this mean? No person shall be, means this is something which if a person thinks that his personal liberty is being compromised, he can go to the court of law. I will give you an article regarding the famous Maneka Gandhi case, where Miss Maneka Gandhi's passport was revoked and she was ordered not to travel in the outside the country because it was a personal vendetta by the Gandhi family, and it was something which she thought that it is against her will, that she is being barred unlawfully for traveling outside the country. So I'll give you an article regarding the same in your Google Classroom, so you can just go through it and we will have a discussion later. Okay, so this right, the protection of life and personal liberty, is available to both the citizens and the non-citizens. That means if a foreign delegate is living over here, then also this right is applicable. And article number 21A declares that the state shall provide free and compulsory education to all the children with an age of 6 to 14 years, and this has been mentioned in the 86th Amendment Act 2002. So this is something which is been there. So as I was talking about the Maneka Gandhi case, what was basically, just I'm giving you a short description what happened in the Maneka Gandhi case first of all, because if you think you are not in a position to understand in a clear manner, I am just telling you what were the situations faced by Maneka Gandhi. So in Maneka Gandhi case, there was this has been declared in the article number 21 that right to dignified life. That means any person should live with certain dignity. He or she should not be treated as social outcast or a second class citizen of a country, then act against right against cruel punishment. If a punishment is being said that it is a very cruel in nature, that should be revoked. Okay, so these are the things, and yes, right to healthy and livable environment is another thing which should be followed. That means any person should be living healthy and he should live in a livable environment. So these are the acts, or these are the provisions which are being said or explained in the protection of life and personal liberty. Okay, and yes, in this particular act, in this particular article, article number 21, there is another thing which has been mentioned: prevention of sexual harassment of working women. This also comes under article number 21. Okay, so if any person, if any woman feels that she is being harassed on sexual behavior or and that kind of thing, so she can definitely go to the court of law and file case in under article number 21. So these are the things which are being mentioned. Yes, again, cruelty, if we talk about, it's not only about the human cruelty, it is also about animal cruelty. So you see, in the year of 2014, there was a case in the Supreme Court which observed that there is a very famous event which goes in Tamil Nadu, Jallikattu. I hope you have heard about this particular thing, Jallikattu, which is a bull race or bullock cart racing, and the bulls are being treated in extremely inhuman manner. So Supreme Court banned these activity, and there was a lot of debate regarding this because it is a cultural aspect of Tamil Nadu, but it should not be encouraged unless you give a proper if you are not following the cruelties of animals against animals, and these are also being mentioned under the article number 21 of our Indian Constitution. So the bench said that forcing a bull and keeping it in the waiting hour for hours in under scorching sun is not good for the well-being of the animal. So that is the reason why it should not be, it should be banned. And at the same point of time, there is a rope tied around the nose of the bull, and it is a form of torture against the animal. So article number 21 is basically saying about protection of personal liberty, and animals also have a personal life and personal liberty. If they cannot speak out, but still we are as a human being should be taking care of these animals. So article number 21A, as I said, it is dealing with the right to compulsory education. Okay, and it has also been enshrined under the fundamental duties under article number 51A, and we will talk about this 51A when we study about the fundamental duties. Okay. Next, we are going against we are going to the article number 22, which deals with protection against arrest and detention. It is being said that it confers that a person who is being arrested or detained under ordinary laws should have the right to be informed on the grounds of his arrest. That means an arrest warrant has to be presented to him why he is being arrested. He should be given a defender, or he should have the right to consult a defender, or that means a lawyer, so that he or she can fight for his justice. And there has to be a right to be produced in front of district magistrate within 24 hours of his arrest. So we will talk about these things in the writs as well. Okay, so these are the things, and at the same point of time, it is being said that a person who is being arrested under preventive detention does not avail these rights. Okay, so preventive detention, if it is being there, so that will be the time when whatever I have just said right now, they are not applicable. and he is not entitled to the following rights. That means like if anybody is being arrested and detained in the court of law and being put into the prison, and he has got all the rights, then if there is nothing is proven against him, within 3 months he should be released. But if again under preventive detention it happens, then he cannot be let go after 3 months. Okay, so these are the things I will be explaining to you, and I will be giving you the assignments, I will be giving you the handwritten notes, so you can just go and go through it, and you will be understanding the same thing. Okay, next, if we are talking about next, this is article number 23 and article number 24. We say what? We have got two things: prohibition of traffic in human beings and forced labor, and protection in respect of conviction and offenses. Okay, so these are the things which we will be doing. So in article number 23, what is being written? This article prohibits trafficking of human beings, begar, that means forced labor, and other similar forms of forced labor. Okay, so this article is very essential or very important. Okay, why? Because you just cannot force anyone to do any kind of activities without being paid. So traffic in human beings, I will talk about the traffic anyways. So if we are talking about the expression of traffic in human beings, it includes selling and buying of men, women and children like goods. You cannot treat men, women and children like a commodity. So you just cannot sell them. They are human beings, they are not commodities. So that is the reason why you just cannot have them in the like you cannot sell them. Then next, if we talk about immoral traffic of women and children, which includes prostitution. That means there are certain kind of prostitution rackets and trafficking of women and children done by various unauthorized groups. These are banned. Okay, these are the expressions which comes under human trafficking. You must have heard about the Devadasis. In certain temples, the women, or basically the girls, adolescent girls, they are being given for the service of the god for throughout their life. So this is something which is against the right of a person. How that girl or an adolescent girl or a woman wants to lead her life, that is being compromised. So this is also an exception under human trafficking. And next is slavery. Any form of slavery is not accepted. See, we have got our maids at home, but you see, you are paying them salary. So that means what? They are your paid employees, not slaves. So this means you just cannot have anyone and force them to do all kinds of jobs without any payment. That is not accepted under article number 23. Next, if you're talking about article number 24, it says about prohibition of employment of children in factories, etc. That means any children below age of 14 cannot be forced to work in factory, mines or other hazardous activities like construction work or railway. But it does not prohibit, see, it does not prohibit their employment in any harmless or innocent works. That means in your home, when you have your brothers and sisters, you ask them to give you a glass of water or do certain household chores. Sometimes even your parents ask you to do certain household chores which are very common in nature. These are not prohibited, but if they are working in a factory, that is prohibited because it is child labor, and these are banned under article number 24. And see, similarly in 1996, Supreme Court directed the establishment of Child Labor Rehabilitation Welfare Fund, in which the offending employer should deposit a fine of 20,000 for each child employed by him. That means he cannot employ any child, any person cannot employ any child below the age of 14 and work in any hazardous activities. If found guilty, he has to pay a fine of rupees 20,000 for each child he has employed. So this is how the article number 24 basically protects the rights of children. And this is something which also says about because age of 14, below the age of 14, our constitution says that the children should be given compulsory education. So if a children is not educated, if does not go to school, then he will not understand the feature of our education system. So if he is working over here, his education is being compromised. So again, this you see how these two articles are linked. So article number 21A, which says that children should be given education, compulsory education, and this is in corresponding to the same thing that a children cannot be employed in any factories or hazardous activities unless it is a harmless or innocent work. So you see, these are the things which are balancing out. Article number 21 complements article 24. So these are the things which we need to understand. Article 21A, it is complementing article 24, as article 21 is giving education and article 24 prohibits them from working in factory, mines or any construction activities. Okay, so I hope I have made myself clear regarding this article. So let's move on to the next rights, freedom of religion. So freedom of religion, what it says. See, article number 25 deals with freedom of conscience and free profession, practice and propagation of religion. 26 says freedom to manage religious affairs. 27 says freedom from taxation or promotion of a religion, and 28 says freedom from attending religious instructions. So now we will deal with this particular article, and today I think I will be doing this as the last, and because I have given you a short test also in your attendance link which I have already posted. So after the class gets over, you are supposed to give your attendance and follow the test, and that will be your attendance for the day. Okay. So today article number 25, what does it say? Freedom of conscience. That means it says that any person has the freedom to about his relation with God or creatures in whatever way he desires. That means if I think that okay, I will be worshipping Lord Shiva, or somebody says that okay, I will be worshipping Jesus Christ, or somebody says that I will be worshipping Allah. So these are the things, whatever way he wants to worship, it is absolutely about an individual and nobody can interfere with the same. If somebody says that he does not want to follow any religion, that means he wants to be an atheist, you just cannot force him to follow any religion. Okay. Next, right to protest. Similarly, declaration, what I have just said, declarations of one religious beliefs, faith, openly and freely. Whoever wants to say about or rights to preach the religion, like some seers or the Mahatmas or certain Maulvis, if they want to profess, they can definitely do it. But again, one more thing, that person cannot force to another person to follow the religion. Right to practice. Performance of religious worships, like if somebody wants to perform any kind of yajna, rituals, ceremonies, like if somebody wants to celebrate Christmas, that right should be given to all the citizens. Right to propagate, spread and publicize his religious views. What I said about the Maulvis, about the Mahatma Sadhu Sant, if they want to profess their religion, they can do it. But again, under lawfulness, they should be following the law. Okay, so this is about article number 25. Okay, so article number 26, it says about freedom to manage religious affairs. It says that anybody has the right to establish and maintain institutions for religious and charitable purposes. Like anybody can build temples, anybody can build an association which is basically doing certain kind of charitable activities, and on the name of religion it can be done for the betterment of the society. And those people who feel they should follow this thing, they can join them. Right to manage its own affairs in religious matters. Yes, we have certain boards which manages the religion. Like they in the Islam religion, they have got a Waqf board, and this Waqf board basically deals with the rules and regulations of the Islamic affairs. And there are certain Hindu societies also which has there are certain Hindu societies which follow their own way and manage the matters of religion in their own ways. Okay, then again article number 26 says right to own and acquire movable and immovable property like temples and mutt or mosques or a church that can be made. And this is something which we said about the Kesavanand Bharati case, which you have already done a case study, and I have given you an assignment. And if you have gone through the Kesavanand Bharati in the Kasaragod district of Kerala, he had a mutt, and based on that the Supreme Court said that under Article 26 the Kesavanand Maharaj he can have the right to acquire these lands in the name of the trust of the temple. Right to administer such property in accordance to law. Yes, these are the things which are interlinked with each other, and this is how the religious affairs are being managed. Okay. So next, if we talk about article number 27, it says freedom from taxation for the promotion of a religion. Yes, no person shall be paying taxes in the name of maintenance of a religion. In the ancient times, when the Mughals were ruling, there was a tax called jizya. You must have read in your school level, jizya tax. Jizya tax was something which was a religious tax given by non-Muslims. That means those who are not following Islam religion, they were forced to pay taxes. If especially the Hindus, if they want to go for Tirth Yatra, they were forced to give taxes. Okay, so these taxes should not be taken out. Okay, so this is a provision which prohibits the state from favoring, patronizing, and supporting one religion over the other. Yes, secularism. This is what secularism also comes under article number 27. Prohibits only levy of a tax, not a fee. So you can be given a fee. That means chanda you give in the time of Durga Puja, that is legal. But if you are giving tax to government, that is illegal. Okay. So if you are giving donations, if you are giving chanda, that is accepted. A fee can be levied on pilgrims if they are going to somewhere. Like when some people go for Amarnath Yatra, so they are being charged certain fee so that their safety, security, and special services like staying in tents can be provided. So these are, and at the same point of time, certain people take fees so that they can have food. Okay, just a minimal fees which will provide them to have food. So these are the fees which can be levied, but it cannot be taken forcefully, or it can be taken as a tax. But yes, these are the special services under which these things are being taken out. Next, freedom from attending any religious instructions. Instruction means schools and colleges. There are like madrasa, or like if you talk about Gurukul. If anybody wants to go to a religious place for having his or her education, that is allowed. Okay, that is allowed. No person attending any educational institution recognized by the state or receiving aid out of the state shall be required to attend any religious instruction or worship in that institution without his consent. That means what? He cannot be forced to go to that institution. In case of minor, what happens is the consent of the parents is required. If his or her parent wants their children to go to any schools where it is a religious religious boards are managing it, so it is absolutely fine with it. So this is something which is essential. And today I will be stopping over here so that you can have enough time to give the test. Okay, so I will be making the link live, okay, so that you can give the test. Okay, so thank you, and we will follow it from article number 29 in our next class. And we will do in our next class the fundamental duties and directive principles of state policies. And at the same point of time, we will also do a certain revision of what we have done in today's class. Okay, so thank you and have a great day. And I will be just making the link live, and it will be active for 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, thank you. Okay.